All right, we are live once again, and like I said, I was trying to make it as quick as possible, and that's what he said. My name is Chris. This is my channel. We love comics. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, go check it out. But this is the 4 comics that I will be sending into PGX to get graded. PGX is a grading company I've been working with now for over 5 years. If you want to check out their website, you can go to pgxcomics.com. This is their website right here. Hopefully you will check them out. Now, of course, I always make sure I give not only myself a chance to have something nice happen with this, PGX to have something nice from this, but I also make sure you get something nice from this, because if you use the code We Love Comics Free Press, you can get you can get one of your comics pressed for free if you send in 10 comics or more to PGX. Also, if you use the code We Love Comics Graders Notes for $5 per slab, you can get the actual Graders Notes put on the back of the slab. That was actually my idea, so shout out to Daniel Patterson for accepting that. And I like it, and I think it's worth it. To me, I think it's better than the fancy labels that people put. I mean, obviously, there's no wrong way to collect, so if you like getting the fancier labels and everything, and you think it's worth spending the money on, that's great. I like more informative stuff. That's why I thought all grading companies should actually do that, but PGX, as of now, is the only one that does it, and like I said, Daniel was kind enough to listen to my advice, so if you use the code We Love Comics Graders Notes, it's $5 per slab. You can get the Graders Notes put on the actual slab itself. So if you ever sell it, or you trade it with somebody, somebody knows exactly what is wrong with the comic. So with that being said, here is another one of my AI arts that I did. I just wanted to do something a little weird, so I did these. It was like a shelf of googly-eyed yarn puppets that were in shock. So just a little goofy thing I thought I would put from my AI art thumbnail. If you like this kind of stuff or you want to comment, I would always love to hear what you have to say. So as usual, let me put on the video camera, otherwise seeing the comics will be quite difficult. I will tell you any significance, if there is any. I will tell you what I paid for them and what I predict the grades may or not be. Keep in mind that I base it on what I think it's going to be after a pressing and dry cleaning, because like EGS, PGX also does in-house pressings, dry cleanings, also signature verifications. So these are things where you don't have to send them to 500 different companies. It can be all done in one place. And like I said, I've been dealing with PGX now. I send in 4 comics a month, every month, for over 5 years before I even moved to Florida. And I think they do a great job. And again, like I said in the other video, there's always different reasons why you might pick a company to get graded, or why you want to get your comics graded. So you go with what works best for you. As far as I'm concerned, and I can only say this with PGX right now because I haven't used the other companies' services as of yet, PGX is one of the fastest without having to spend more money to get books back. I usually get my books, because I don't pay extra for extra shipping or anything. They send it like they would grade anybody else that just paid the general fee. But I usually get them back within a month and a half. Sometimes when there's a delay, about 2 months. But that's the latest I think I've ever had to wait for a set of my comics. Some companies can take 8 months to a year to get your books back. And especially if you're trying to sell a book, if a book is only valuable because of maybe a movie or TV show, and you get the book back after that event has already happened, well, it doesn't matter if you're sending it to the best company. If that $500 book is now only worth about $100, well, then you're not selling it for the most money. So sometimes speed is a factor. As far as cases are concerned, that's why I do my videos live all the time. I've never had a case from them crack ever in the 5+ years now that I have been dealing with PGX. So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, obviously if you step on a case, it's made of plastic, it could potentially crack, but I've never had that problem. I've had 2 CGC slabs crack just from moving here, and I had a bunch of PGX books in the same boxes, and none of them ever broke. Again, like I said, they do in-house pressings and dry cleanings. They do signature verification, all in-house. And as far as prices, they are one of the cheapest out of all of the grading companies of the major grading companies out there. So if you want to give them a try, please, like I said, use the code We Love Comics free press if you send 10 or more, and you'll get one of them pressed for free. And if you want to add the greatest notes, use the code We Love Comics Greatest Notes. It's $5 charge. All right, so with that all out of the way, and again, check the description if you want to check out other discounts that I offer. Joining Patreon, which I think I have 1, maybe 2 people, and to those people I thank you. But let's get into the comics. First one, I have no idea the value of this book. I just like collecting Golden Age books, and I always thought, when you get a #1 issue, I feel it's always worth taking the chance on. But this is from 1943. This is All Hero Comics #1. Now, I wish it was autographed, but that looks like just some kid's signature. So somebody signed it at one point. Now, this is what I always find fascinating about these books. This is I believe it's a 100-page, yes, 100-page comic, and was selling at the time, let me see what the price is, right here, for 15 cents. So 100 pages for 15 cents back in 1943. And All Hero Comics, it does have some Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. The other people I've never heard of. Spy Smasher, I think I've heard of a little bit. I'm not sure about Golden Arrow, or is that Isis? Or Ibis? I'm not sure. It's hard to see because it's like right over black coloring of the character. Lanzo Casey I've never heard of, and Captain Midnight, I think I've heard of him as well. But 100 pages, All Hero Comics. I paid a total of $309.67 for this book. #1 issue from 1943. I'll take the chance on it. Like I said, I like collecting older stuff. If you haven't had a Golden Age book in your collection, I highly recommend you get one. There's just something different about them. Even just the smell of them is just having something that is getting closer and closer to 100 years old. I mean, you're talking a book about 80 years old at this point. You're holding something somebody's grandparents bought. So I just find that fascinating. So it's a lower grade, but not too low. I would predict it's roughly around a 3.0 to a 4.0. Now, it does have a little bit of an indent here, so I'm not sure if a pressing will help a book this thick, but they will make the decision. They won't just press a book just to get the extra money. If they don't feel it could benefit from a pressing, or they feel a pressing could hurt the book, they won't do it. So I've had nothing but good situations with them when it comes to pressings and dry cleanings. But there is a little piece missing here, a little tiny tear there, little tear here, about a 1/4 inch. So not major defects, especially for a book this old. A little color loss right above the E, so again, nothing major. A tiny little tear about the width of my thumb, a little bit less right there. And then, of course, I don't know if it's folded over or that little bit is missing, and you can also see a color-breaking crease there. So again, not anything major. Again, for a book that's 80 years old, I'm going to predict between a 3 and a 4. It may be even higher than that, because this book looks pretty darn good for a book from 1943. But I like to grade a little bit lower, because if I'm going to be wrong, I'd rather it be wrong and it's be higher than what it is than wrong and be lower. I mean, I don't care either way. You guys know that. You've been watching me for so long. If you have been watching me for so long, you know I really don't care about that stuff. But it could be even higher than a 4, possibly. I don't think it would go more than a 4.5, but hey, 4.5 is still higher. But I'll be happy with a 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, but we'll find out in about between 30 and 45 days. That's usually the average, is about 45 days. So, All Hero Comics #1, and I said off-white pages. So, about between a 3 and a 4, potentially. Next up is one of my earliest, well, no, actually not my earliest Batman, but close to it. I actually at one point had a Batman 5, but I sold it a couple years ago. It was only like a 1.5 grade, but still, that was my earliest Batman. I think now my earliest Batman is number 13. But I bought this one a couple years ago. This is Batman number 19. Seems like every other Batman issue has a Joker appearance in it, which is fine. And it seems like every Batman book I pick up always has a Joker appearance. But this was from 1943. Not only does it have a Joker appearance, but there is a key, not with the characters, but this is the first ever Dick Sprang artwork. So that is key, because Dick Sprang, he's a very popular Batman artist from DC. This was his first ever artwork. Now, the staples are barely hanging on, so I made sure, and I always recommend people do this, I wrote on tape that the staples are barely hanging on, because, no matter what company you send a book to, they're not going to know that. So, and they're not going to open the book up and be as careful as you would. So, letting them know about any potential problems or any problems that they may not be aware of at the point, that may, it doesn't guarantee anything, but somebody could read that and say, you know what, I'll take it out a little bit more carefully. Because it doesn't matter the company, if they just yank the book out and the staples become detached, well, most of them are not going to take any responsibility for that, and they'll just make up some excuse and say it was probably done in the mail or something and not, take responsibility, and you're the one that suffers. So I highly recommend, if there's something that you think a grader, no matter what company you send it to, might need, post it on the back of the backing board. Obviously, don't put it on the comic, because then, that'd be kind of silly. But other than that, I mean, it's got a chunk here missing from here to here. Not all the way through or anything, but it does look like there's some tears in the first maybe 2 pages. So there is a little bit of split right here. And like I said, the piece is missing. I don't know how that happened. Maybe it got stuck on tape or anything. But overall, especially for a black book, again, from 1943... So you're saying it's 80 years old. This book looks pretty darn good, but I think it's a little bit less grade than the other books. I'm going to say about a 2.0 to a 3.0. I only paid $127.99 for this book. So even if it came back a 1.0, I would still do well on this book. But again, if you don't collect Golden Age comics, I highly recommend you give it a try. Next up, and I was trying to sell this at the flea market when the flea market was still open and I had a comic book store. I was trying to sell this for $595 and nobody bought it. I'm actually glad they didn't. But this is All-Star Comics issue number 6, which is actually before Wonder Woman, which I believe is All-Star Comics number 8. It's only 2 issues before Wonder Woman first appearance. But this is, again, I wrote, its centerfold is barely hanging on. Please handle with care. So I wrote that down. This was from 1941. It has Johnny Thunder joins the JSL, and Flash becomes an honorary member. So there's some minor keys in this book. But again, early All-Star Comics, early Golden Age book from 1941. I spent a total of $250 on this book. So I bought this a couple years ago. And it's amazing to me how economical some of the books are. Now, obviously, 2 issues later, you're not getting a page for that price. But, again, I tried to sell it at my flea market. Right there, there's the price tag I had on it. And nobody bought it. So I'm happy about that. But I'm predicting about a 3.0 to a 4.0, cream to off-white pages. It does have 2 little tears right here and here, but again, nothing major. Spine looks pretty good. I don't see, there's a little bit of an indent, but not major. I don't see a lot of color breaking creases at all. I mean, I've seen Bronze Age books that have worse creasing than these. So overall, it looks pretty darn good. There is a little bit of a tear that's about 1 inch that just goes straight up a little bit. It may even, again, grade higher. But I guess, it says centerfold is barely hanging on. So, during shipment or during inspection, it could get loose during the travel. So who knows? That will affect the grade. But I think it's not unreasonable to say this is about a 3 to a potential 4. Again, I'd be happy with a 3, even a 2.5. But again, Cover looks great for a book from 1941, which is 82 years old. I mean, you're talking some people's grandparents aren't even that old. Definitely worth taking the chance on. All right, last but not least. This one does not have any major significance as far as a key is concerned. It is my third, believe it or not, my third oldest of this character, which I find fascinating. Superman number 8. Now I have Superman number 5, and I also have Superman number 2. So I have 3 of the first 10 issues of Superman, which blows me away that I actually have been lucky enough. And I even have issue 13 and I think 27. So to have that many early Superman books, just to me is amazing. This is also from 1941. I spent a grand total. It was either 325 or 425. Because I did not write it down because I was selling this at the flea market. So obviously I'm not going to put the price I paid on it. I was trying to sell it at the time for 725. Very glad, again, no one bought it. So I'm just going to assume I paid the higher price of 425. It does have a subscription crease that goes, it's not all the way in the center, it's a little off a little bit. So with a subscription crease, the highest it could be ever would be a 5.0, but it's not that good. It does have a couple of color breaking creases along the spine. Staples are intact. The top of the book, if you could see all along, a little bit across, has been torn off. I guess it must have gotten stuck on a staple. There is... I don't know if that's... No, okay. There's some browning. Or is that the... Oh, no, that's the color work. Okay, I thought it was yellow browning, but no, I could see it's like clouds. But, let me see. Yeah, there's a little missing piece there, about 1 inch. But other than that, it is intact. There is a tiny bit of the corner on the edge missing. So a lower grade book, but still, as you can see, presents pretty well for a book that's 82 years old. So I'm going to predict about a 2.0 to a 3.0 cream to off-white pages. So I'm looking forward to getting these encapsulated and seeing what the grades are. Again, for books this old, to have them this complete, I mean, I love collecting Golden Age books, and I think these will look great slabbed, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they come back as. So those are the 4 books. 5 people hit the like button, so thank you to them. Let's give a shout out to the people that came to this video. We got Craig Wagner, hello again. We got Big Dave, love comics, always good to see you. Harley Joe, welcome. Rodney Hansen, long time no see, Chris. Glad to see you're still around. I've been around for a while. Most people, sometimes when they check my channel, they look under the video section and they won't see one, like a video, for years. You go under the live section and you'll see I make videos, not as much as I used to, but I definitely make them fairly frequently, especially last week I did a bunch of videos. We got Dr. Valencia Designs, welcome. I don't think I've ever seen you here before, but he says, hey Chris, finally able to see you live, welcome. And then, of course, Big Dave again. So let me post the codes again. We Love Comics free press. If you send 10 or more books, you can get one of them pressed for free. Make sure you indicate which one you want pressed for free. And if you want to add Graders Notes to the back of the slab, use the code We Love Comics Graders Notes, and it's $5 per slab. So I'd love to hear what you think about my little AI art. I know this one's a little sillier, but, you know, sometimes you just want to have fun with it, and I love the AI art. It's amazing that you could just type in a couple of keywords, and some beautiful designs and some very original designs, let's say, come out of it within, like, literally less than 30 seconds. So, thanks for watching. Check out the other video if you haven't. And of course, when I get the comics back, I will do live unboxings and we'll reveal what the grades are. So check out any of my other videos. And don't forget, it's not you, it is not I, it's We Love Comics. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.